Welcome to YouTubers and thank you for tuning in to today's voting video on YouTube. This is going to be a meteorological one. I haven't done one of these videos for a long period of time. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, of course. It's the Northern Hemispherian winter, if I like to call it. Or should I just say it's the winter of the Northern Hemisphere? As you can see, it's of course, we're now on Saturday. So it's just a day after Boxing Day, a couple of days after Christmas Day, and Christmas Eve. And yes, the Christmas holidays are coming up towards its near knife edge. As you can see, hey, we're going up towards 2026, which is quite surprising considering that, hey, we're nearly at the tail end of 2026. Of course, it has been a freezing cold sort of day. There's been no snow recorded, only just around across Scotland and possibly the northeast. Yeah, much in the way of precipitation in this week, which is so far really good. But the main focus video here is of course cloud. Well, not really cloud, but what we're actually looking at for is the amount of cold weather and cold air that we've been focusing so far of late. I hope it's not going to be a complete and utter joke to repeat the same process as it did around at the very start of its beginning. You know, 2025, well, it was wet, but then it started to become extremely cold, very cold at that time of the year. Again, of course, we had some snow, but obviously just because it's freezing outside doesn't exactly mean we've got snow. It is, of course, a dry sort of cold environment because we've got an easterly wind around like so. It's been very persistent somehow. But as we come out towards the very new end, what we're going to see is a bit of unsettled conditions right here. A bit of unsettled weather, like so. A bit of a brief period to recover around single digits, but yet again, it's still freezing cold. Not that good to know. But next week, I think the next couple of weeks, up towards 2026, which is of course next year. Ooh, that's a nice picture of a train. Is that Black 5, the train that Henry is based on? Yes, there's been lots and lots of snow so far. As we can see, hey, we've got a very big cold blast that lasted until the middle of January. Yes, look at this, guys. Hey, look how freezing cold it was back in January of 2025. It somehow has been just that, somehow. Just look how absolutely freezing at all. Very cold at that time here. But despite of how freezing it has been so far this year, well, guess what? We had relatively hot during spring and also summer of 2025. Yes, about 4 heat waves. Yes, about 4 heat waves, which has been actually quite impressive. But we have actually had a massive drought during, well, let's just say, the rest of spring and summer and also towards autumn time. Yeah, it's interesting that we had a lot of leaves falling during autumn time. And actually, sorry, I just farted, hey. I think the other thing I was also going to think about was the false autumn that we had back then around August. So it was probably because of how prolonged and dry and hot it was. You know, just crazy, isn't it? Oh my goodness me. You go, some early season snow. Again, I mean, look at that. We had Storm Bram and Storm Claudia. Quite a lot of this. We just have to find out what 2026 is going to be like. But for me, hey, let's take a look at the weather forecast.
Is on the weather forecast for the run-up to the new year, and it is looking settled. Certainly is this weekend with some sunshine, but areas of clouds too. The satellite picture from
Sunshine? More like sunshine. Why the accent? It's strange how they're being pronounced. The word sun, it's sun. Sounds like the word sun, as in like a male sibling.
Pushed by that northeasterly breeze. You can see where the clearer skies are here. In the morning there will be a touch of this is mostly outside of town, but at 7 a.m. most towns and cities will be in the range of 0 to 5 Celsius. The forecast for Saturday then shows variable amounts of cloud. Scotland, the northeast of England, some clouds in the south too, but the best of the sunshine will always be towards the west. And our highs will peak at around 10 Celsius in 1 or 2 spots, but for most it will be around single figures. That's Saturday. How about Sunday? The clouds will move around within this area of high pressure, so the chances are that sunshine amounts will vary between Saturday and Sunday, but broadly speaking, it is still looking similar. Temperatures between around 5 and 9 Celsius on Sunday afternoon. Then the outlook towards New Year's Eve and into January 2026 looks fairly similar. Beyond that, it could turn colder. Bye-bye.
Okay, as we're entering the year of 2026, or should I just say 2026, as now people would pronounce these days. It's a bit stupid when you have to pronounce a much more shorter sort of length of days, months, weeks. Sorry, I mean it's more like days, weeks, months, hours. Oh my gosh, I can't even straightforward talk about anything else in the world. Anyways, let me just talk about Sandbox VR next, because I actually had a bit of a controversial thought that I didn't contact this venue here. Unfortunately, I was told, of course, yes. Let me just straightforward, give me a second how to really deal with this issue here. So I'm actually going to look at the moment here, I'm actually at Sandbox VR, Birmingham, of course, because that's where I live. And I'm not going to contact them just yet, but here is my word about Sandbox VR. Now, I am planning to go ahead and visit on this Saturday with my dad, of course. But the problem is, yes, I did land into a few issues about filming people and the rest of this whole venue. Well, I think the main reason why I've decided to film on that venue was because, well, it was mainly for, well, just basically the place itself, and mainly to do with the, the robot barristers that were actually in that place. I actually want to see more of the robot barristers in action, because, seeing robot barristers is quite a very interesting significance of that place, because, hey, why not go wrong with just having robots serving to you in the middle of something else? Jesus, a lot of, amazing, well, let's just say, that's interesting, I didn't know there's one in Surrey. But let me take a look at Birmingham right here next, because, oh, sorry about that. That wasn't meant to be, another website. Okay, so there's a lot of video games here. Most, if not all of these, are basically just virtual reality related stuff. And Christmassy themed sort of attraction here. That's somehow quite nice to know. And it's located on the Grand Central shopping centre, which is actually quite surprising. A look at Sunday's time, it actually lasts until 8 PM, which is quite surprising, because at least I didn't straightforward hear any signs of flatulence side of mine. Obviously, let me just talk about this Grand Central Shopping Centre branch right here, and let me just turn off the lights to become a lot more surreal here. Yes, I've been working on quite a few flip-flap toy projects. Okay, I'm actually back, and this is the place I'm actually on about. At least the screen is much nicer in contrast than with the surrounding room's light. And as you can see, hey, this is the place that I've actually visited. It was open during the summer of 2023, and if I remember about this place, it featured 6 virtual reality rooms for gaming. But what was quite disappointing was just how little options there was in that place. Of course, there's no free options, which is very unfortunate, considering, hey, it's really expensive, and it's also pretty high-tech. In fact, it's very high-tech there. And, of course, yes, I'm actually going to be frankly honest. I have tried virtual reality with it, but my performance on virtual reality, I'm actually very finicky with it, because it's something that I seem to be more alienated towards it, because, with virtual reality, it's more to do with young people, especially in my generation, but for me to, basically just to play the crap out of this game here, it's actually quite relatively hard to translate. There's that creepy, scary-looking Squid Game doll. Hopefully that wasn't a legitimate jump scare. Again, look at this. Oh, I don't like the looks of this doll. Right, anyways, without going too dramatic here, there's actually quite a lot of things. We've got accessibility, like so, and we've got the terms as well. And it's very worthy to note that I'm actually going to scroll right over here. Yeah. You know what? It's not actually talking about in person. Let's go back. Ooh, Stranger Things. Pretty awesome. Somehow. But hey, it's a bit too, let's just say surreal. The TV show Stranger Things. Hey, well, that's a cool dragon, eh? Oh man, my adrenaline. That just picked up really, really so much. Oh yes, the UK's first robotic bartender. This is actually quite an amazing feature to have. I'm actually more focused onto this section here than, let's just say, the games, because the games themselves, while they are futuristic, but to handle these things, it's relatively expensive. I wouldn't probably get involved on, let's just say, encroaching on a bit of gaming, because now just to book a gaming sort of thing like that, let's take a look at Stranger Things. And the problem is that if you want to book a trip like this, look how much they cost. £25 to £42.50. Now, I did say they were about £50. Well, I'm actually a bit wrong, because they're a bit cheaper than what my expectations are like, but at the same time, they are just still freaking expensive. I can't swear to that one, sorry to say that, but hey, but what I'm up for is the robotic bartender. That is what I'm on about. And the other problem is, with the robotic bartender on that venue here, the one problem I've also witnessed was, well, if I scroll down, there's a lot of alcohol and various booze that they sell here. Of course, it's bad for your health, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of soft drinks in there. I could order a soft drink, which at least is more humane than just ordering alcohol. But yes, we've got non-alcoholic drinks right here. And yes, I did straightforward speak about of just how relatively expensive the drinks that you can order on a robotic bartender than if a human-powered bartender. I'd like to look at a robotic bartender because, hey, it looks quite futuristic. It looks almost, well, let's just say, somewhat of a Star Warsy sort of theme. Oh, look at that. Is that like a stormtrooper? Or is it something out of Fortnite or Overwatch? Oh no, that to me it does look quite strange. Boom. You know what I'm gonna do? Hey, from later on, let's just say in the afternoon, I'll record as much as I can, but I need to get some very vigilant permission with the staff who actually work there. They are friendly, but I feel like I'm actually encroaching territory, so I might have to probably say, hey, can I record some footage here, and what can I do to actually record while I'm actually at the place, because I don't want to get into another bit of trouble, hey? Well, basically, I'll be there with my dad to showcase of what this place actually is, and I'll tell you what, guys, hey, you know what? This shouldn't be too bad, considering, hey, you know what? For what I can see, you know what? This place has got a lot to offer. Maybe I can do it on either Saturday or Sunday. I should think about it from the time being, hey? But you know what? Yeah. I just want to make an apology that I was actually filming some people here because, well, that was just me getting a little bit finicky, wasn't it? I was just too distracted by various certain appearances, like, well, I won't discuss it too further. It's just that, hey, I won't go ahead and incentivize, I won't insinuate people again, so I'm really sorry for that. And I basically might as well just film just away from people. Okay, so again, whenever I went into this website, there's nothing that really relates about recording other people. I think that's a problem about, this venue here. There's no extra bits of rules and other bits of other whatnot here, hey, which talks about filming on places like that, because, I mean, for me, I do like my tablet, but then, hey, let me take a look at the facts and questions here. Okay, so, right, there's a lot of this. There's a lot of that, of course. The experience, right, I haven't got that too. But what I can do is I can contact these people like so, and I hope it's not a Squid Game doll jump scare. But I'm not yet ready for the time being, hey, because, well, I'm not that eligible enough. Like, as I said before, playing with virtual reality stuff, it's something that I feel, very finicky on. And like I said before, I don't participate on these types of events, as I said before. But yes, I do apologise for the encroachment towards other bits of humanity because, well, I was actually kind of getting distracted by people's attire, basically just other people's clothes, which I won't get into it about that because, hey, now I've learnt my lesson, I won't do that ever again. Anyways, I might have to leave this video here before it gets way too edgy for today's stupid YouTube. I can't speak about subjects like this for a long period of time because, again, I could pretty much, there's more trouble that's actually going to come along and people would pretty much say, hey, unsubscribe to this complete idiot who's actually recording on the site. I do know, I'm a fairly loyal and fairly courteous person whenever I'm at this place. Like, I don't really cause any signs of abuse towards other people. It's just that I get distracted somehow. But hey, you know what? Let's just hope my Christmas spirit doesn't get blown up from the time being, hey. So anyways, if you really enjoyed this video, please give this video a very good like. Subscribe for more flat videos in the future, especially my trips to Sandbox VR. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and bye for now. Also, I've got a toy review coming up sooner and or later. Good luck on watching here.